estimation with rational numbers. All right, remember when we estimate, we don't care about getting the exact answer. We are just getting an approximate answer, right? We're estimating. We don't ever care what the exact answer is unless they ask for the exact answer. So when they ask us to estimate the following quantities, remember, you want to round these to make the math easy. If the math is too hard to do in your head, you didn't round good enough for your estimate. So look at a number and figure out, is it close to 0? Is it close to a half? Is it close to 1? Can you round it off to 0, 1, or a half, or maybe even like a fourth and 3/4? I usually, if I'm adding in my head, I'm not going to go beyond fourths. Halves and fourths is about as much as I would want to do. So if you can try to estimate about what these would look like in terms of a whole number or a half, it'd be really easy to estimate the answer. So 3 1/5 plus 6 7/8. There's no way I want to add that and get an exact answer if I don't have to. So what is 3 1/5 close to? Is it like close to 3? Is it close to 4? Is it close to like 3 1/2? You could maybe call it 3 1/2, but I think it's pretty close to 3. I mean, a fifth is not very much. It's 1 out of 5. It's not very much. So I'm going to say that's about 3. And 6 7/8. 7/8 is pretty close to a whole. Like that's pretty close to 1. So 6 7/8 is pretty close to 7. So if I was going to estimate an answer, I'd say 10. I'd say it's approximately 10. Remember, they didn't ask for the exact answer. Quick estimate. So that's about 3, that's about 7, call it 10. That's a quick way to estimate. How about this one? 5/6 plus 2/5 plus 1/11. Figure out, is it close to 0, close to a half, close to 1? 5/6, that's almost 6/6. So I would call that close to 1. 2/5, I think that's pretty close to half, because we talked about halves in a different video. Half of 5 is 2.5. So 2/5 is pretty close to 2.5/5. So I'd say about a half. And 1/11, that's just like a teeny tiny little amount. I'd say that's pretty close to nothing. So about 1 1/2. That's what my estimate would be. If you wanted me to add those three numbers, I'd say it's about 1 1/2. Let's try one more. 4/5 plus 2 1/2 minus 1 7/8. Okay, 4/5. That's pretty close to 1. I'll call that 1. 2 1/2, that's so good, I'm not even going to try to estimate. I'm just going to leave it 2 1/2. Minus, I don't want to have to deal with eighths, so 1 7/8. 7/8 is pretty close to 1 itself, so this amount is pretty close to 2. So just look at the whole parts. 1 plus 2 minus 2. The plus 2 and the minus 2 are going to cancel each other out. You're going to end up with 1 1/2. Right? 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I add in my half. Remember, 2 1/2 is like 2 plus a half. And you can add and subtract in any order. Commutative property. As long as you kind of take care of that subtraction towards the end here. But anyway, 1 1/2, that's a good enough estimate for those. So try to figure out if the fraction is close to 0, close to a half, or close to 1, and then you can add up easy numbers. That's the basic idea behind it.